Today I have an anniversary review for this album right here called Who Are You by The Who. I bought this at a record fair for a few dollars, not the best condition, but you know, it was pretty cheap and it looks pretty good. So we're going to be diving into this album and stick around to the end of the video. I'm going to talk about how this band has a love for science fiction and how it relates to some of their other work. So let's get into it. Who Are You is their eighth studio album, released on August 21st, 1978, through Polydor Records in the UK and MCA Records in the US. Was their last album to feature Keith Moon as their drummer, who died 3 weeks after its release. Now, the album cover shows Moon sitting on a chair that has the words "not to be taken away" on the back. And if you can hold up the album cover, you can see it right here. And it's pretty interesting because we can assume that message was intended for the chair, like to not take it away, but it also kind of creates this whole new conspiracy theory, similar to the whole Paul is dead legend. So let's talk about what happened to Keith Moon. So he was the drummer for The Who, known for his unique style of playing, his eccentric, often self-destructive behavior. He had died on September 7, 1978 at the age of 32 from an overdose of a drug called clomethazole, which he was taking to treat his alcohol withdrawal symptoms. He was found dead in his apartment in London by his girlfriend Annette Walter Lax, who had spent the night with him after attending a party and a film premiere. Moon had taken 32 pills of this. 6 were digested, and that was enough to cause the overdose. The other 26 were left undigested in his stomach. Moon's death was a tragic loss for the music world. He was greatly regarded as one of the greatest and most influential drummers of all time. He was known for his explosive and energetic drumming, which featured tom-toms, cymbal crashes, and drum fills. He also used the double bass drums, which was rare at the time. He was an important part of the Who sound and image and contributed to their success and popularity. He was also famous for his antics on and off stage, like smashing his drum kit, destroying hotel rooms, blowing up toilets, and driving cars into pools. He had a wild and unpredictable personality and a sense of humor that earned him the nickname Moon the Loon. So I'll give you some background on The Who. The album contains some of Pete Townshend's most complex compositions with multiple layers of synthesizer and strings. Some of the songs also revisit themes from his Lifehouse project, such as music as a metaphor for life and the role of songwriting. The album also reflects Townshend's uncertainty about The Who's relevance in wake-up punk rock and his dissatisfaction with the music industry. The album received mixed reviews from critics. It was a commercial success, peaking at number 2 on the US charts and number 6 on the UK charts. The title track, Who Are You, became one of the band's biggest hits, reaching number 14 in the US and number 18 in the UK. It's also used as the theme song for the popular TV series, the CSI Crime Investigation. Who Are You is considered by some fans and critics as The Who's last great album and a fitting farewell to Moon's legendary drumming. It showcased the band's musical diversity and creativity as well as their enduring influence on rock music. The album has a total length of 42 minutes and 13 seconds. Features songs written by Pete Townshend except for Had Enough and 905, which were written by John Entwistle, and the album was produced by Glyn Johns and John Astley. First track is called New Song. This is one of the more upbeat rock songs on the album. Also one of the more well-known tracks. It's an enjoyable song. It has a memorable chorus and has the kind of like a reggae type of beat. If you listen closely, that's what I noticed about it. Had Enough is another very good song. I like this one a lot. I feel on this one they're adopting their sound more of that, what they would be doing like in the 80s with more keyboards and more electronics in their sound and having kind of that prog rock type of sound as well. It also has a bigger sound with some horns towards the end of the song. It's a really good song and one of the better ones on the album. "905" was written by John Entwistle. This is a song that has the science fiction story behind the lyrics. I will delve deeper into the song later in the video. I guess the way I can describe the song is it's like a soft rock song from the 70s, but with futuristic sound effects in the background. I was sewn up like a glove. I got Sister Disco has a classic sound. Pete Townshend plays his signature big guitar chords and does some vocals on the song. The song is critical of the disco craze that was happening at the time, and the album came out around that time, and for this reason they wanted it to be more of a rock song, even though there are keyboard parts in it as well. The song ends with this kind of country or bluegrass style guitar section. I thought that sounded pretty cool. Music Much Change was a little different. It kind of had a slower pace at first, and then I first heard the guitar chord, I was thinking of like Jimi Hendrix, but then the song sounded more like classic The Who. They were trying some different ideas as far as making like a soft rock song with keyboard sounds. Some of the guitar playing by Pete Townshend was a little reminiscent of Jimi Hendrix when he plays some of his like bluesy songs. And then on side 2 of the album, we have Trick of the Light. This was another song written by John Entwistle. It's a hard-rocking song. It has a catchy chorus with backing vocals. It has a very bright guitar tone. You can hear the bass guitar very well, and Pete Townshend plays some of his signature guitar chords. Track 2 on side 2 is Guitar and Pen. This is one of those songs that has a very big sound. I think it would fit on any of their rock operas like Tommy or Quadrophenia. It has that big rock production with guitars and keyboards and big vocal styles by Roger Daltrey. Love Is Coming Down, another song with a very big sound. It has a laid-back soft rock ballad or soft rock ballad type of song. It's not too bad of a deep cut. There's some orchestration and different instruments in the mix. And the final song, Who Are You? Not much more to say about Who Are You. One of the most well-known songs, given that it was on CSI, that show. And it's a really good song. It's a hard rocker, has a cool keyboard intro, and I like it a lot. So as I was saying before, let's talk about how the Who love to write songs about science fiction, so including the following. So I was talking before about 905, written by John Entwistle, and he was the bassist, if you didn't know that. It was originally written for that album that was never completed, where like they want to write about like this dystopian future where all people are clones. This describes the main character of the rock opera 905. He is a cloned human that was implanted with memories of his childhood, as opposed to having a childhood of his own. So he was created to serve some specific purpose, but outside of his assigned purpose, he can't help feeling empty, as though kind of like something is missing. So he still wonders if he will ever discover that he is living a lie, or he wants to tell the world, the reasons why, like what is his purpose in life. So the song is very unique. It explores themes of identity, individuality, freedom, and purpose. It also questions like ethics and consequences of cloning and genetic and engineering, which is pretty ahead of its time, because back in 1978, I think this was more of a concept. I guess scientists were just starting to think about this type of thing. It also reflects Entwistle's own feelings and experiences as a musician and human being, and his interest in science fiction and horror. And the song is one of the most complex and experimental songs on the album, Who Are You? So let's talk about some other songs. We have Bob O'Reilly. That was from the 1971 album Who's Next. This was originally part of like a sci-fi rock opera called Lifehouse. Features a synthesizer loop created by Pete Townshend using a device to generate musical patterns on the vital signs of his bandmates. So that was pretty interesting. And the song was named after two of Townshend's influences, the spiritual guru Meher Baba and the composer Terry Riley. And it's about like this dystopian future where people escape their polluted and overcrowded cities to join this rural commune where they can experience music as a form of spiritual enlightenment. Then there's Tommy, the title of the 1969 rock opera, story of a deaf, dumb, and blind boy who becomes a pinball champion and a religious leader. So this one has a lot of references to LSD and other psychedelic drugs. And it was a movie and a musical in 1992. And Quadrophenia, this is the title of the 1973 rock opera. It tells the story of Jimmy, a young guy who suffers from schizophrenia and has 4 distinct personalities that reflects the 4 members of The Who. And it's set in London in 64 and 65 during clashes between like the mods and the rockers. So the rock opera explores themes of identity, rebellion, alienation, and mental illness. So that's all. Thanks for watching. Remember, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I did a 50th anniversary review of Who's Next. I'm going to link that right there. If you want to check that out, that's there. And see you in the next one.